Hey guys, I know we should probably already know about this, but how do babies become like babies?
Don't they just come from storks? Wait, I thought they just magically appear on a fire station's doorstep.
Come on guys, because I could have sworn my mom was just pregnant one day and the next day I had a baby brother taller than me. So how do lives start?
That sounds like a job for me to explain. Hello, I'm uterus, and I'm the female reproductive organ. Babies get well acquainted with me before their entrance into the new world. So let's get to explaining. Once the sperm, the male sex cell, unites with the egg, the female sex cell, the fertilized egg becomes a zygote within my fallopian tubes. It then enters a state known as embryogenesis. Embryogenesis is the formation and development of the embryo.
Is it a baby yet?
Not yet. Next, the zygote cells will begin to divide through a process known as cleavage to form a morula. The morula is composed of 16 solid mass cells. Eventually, the morula will develop a cavity in the middle of its cells filled with amino acids, proteins, growth factors, sugars, ions, and other necessary components for cellular differentiation. After this, it is now known as a blastula. Differentiation refers to how cells differ itself from another, splitting into two cell types. The two cell types are the inner mast cells that develop fetal tissue and the outer mast cells known as the trophoblast that later becomes the placenta. Once this occurs, the blastula will become a blastocyst after differentiation. Next, the blastocyst implantation occurs where the blastocyst attaches itself to the uterus lining known as the endometrium. The now attached cell is now known as an embryo. This is when we develop our mouth, ears, jaws, nervous system, digestive tract, circulatory system, and all other necessary organs. Once the embryo has developed all its system, it is now known as a fetus.
So how do we go from being a fetus in the stomach to a baby in the world?
Once the fetus has finished its primary development, the mother will begin labor. Labor is a series of contractions of the uterus which help it dilate and open up the cervix, which allows for a smoother transition during childbirth. The first stage of labor is known as latent. During latent, contractions are roughly 5 minutes apart, and the mother's brain will begin to tell her body to produce oxytocin and prostaglandin in order to help the body contract and dilate. During this phase, the vaginal opening can open up to 3 inches. This phase can last up to 10 to 14 hours.
Gosh, for real?
Yep, the next stage of labor is known as the active stage. The cervix dilates between 4 to 7 centimeters during this stage, and contractions occur more frequently, around 3 to 4 minutes. The last stage the mother will enter is known as the transition phase. The cervix is not fully dilated, somewhere between 8 and 10 centimeters. The contractions are every minute, with the head of the baby beginning to crown. Crowning is when the baby's head is visible. Once the head is fully visible, the baby is pushed through the dilated cervix.
Wow, I'm glad it's over.
Actually, it's not. The mother is still contracting.
Why?
Remember the placenta I mentioned earlier? The mother has to give birth to the placenta very carefully to not rupture any of her blood vessels. But once the placenta has successfully been birthed, we can cut the umbilical cord and celebrate that lengthy process of blood, sweat, and tears known as childbirth.
Wow, that was super gross. Interesting, but gross.
But y'all didn't think it was weird that a uterus just magically explained that to us?